Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Someone sent me a video of Kino Casino reacting to Ethan Ralph's motion seeking relief that was denied. It's a family law motion. Some background. Apparently, he did something that caused the court to issue what I'm going to assume is a bench warrant for his arrest for criminal contempt. Now, that doesn't mean that he's been convicted of criminal contempt. That means the court has issued a bench warrant for his arrest. It is allegedly a nationwide warrant. What does that mean? Who the fuck knows? I don't. But it's a low-level issue, and much like with Chile, I seriously doubt that anybody's going to give a flying F about it. And I seriously doubt, I believe it's Minnesota, a state court judge in Minnesota that issued the bench warrant. I seriously doubt that Minnesota is going to pay any kind of money to extradite Ethan Ralph from California or wherever. I think his kid is in California that he wants to go see or something. I don't know. Don't really care. But I'm just saying that I don't think it's a problem. Anyway, Ethan Ralph wrote a letter to the judge asking for relief in St. Cloud, Minnesota, asking for the bench warrant to be quashed so that he could go visit his kid in California. And he said that he would attend hearings or remotely. He'd attend hearings remotely or something like that. Now, Andy Worski is a fucking idiot, and the PPP guy, the fat guy who bounces a lot, blah, 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 just talking, jibber-jabbering. He's smart, but he has the same kind of affliction that a lot of smart people do, where we think we know shit that we don't know. It's afflicted me. I've made a lot of comments on video about shit that I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. But when it comes to law, I have a pretty good grasp of what I'm talking about. You know, you get three lawyers in a room and you ask for their opinion on it. Generally speaking, you're going to get three different legal opinions. But I have a pretty good grasp of what's going on. So the motion, just for a legal analysis, because I'm assuming that's why it was sent to me, the motion, in theory, could have been granted. Courts have a lot of power to do stuff, and if the court had just decided it wanted to, it could have done it. It would have done it. It's always possible something like that can happen. I mean, the courts make mistakes all the time. Courts do things that, just because they want to. And something like quashing a warrant, basically, it would be quashing the court's own motion. The court saying basically like, yeah, I changed my mind. I don't really want to have this motion out there anyway. I don't want to have this this order show cause for contempt out there, right? So it's the court asking for it. The court could quash it. It could happen. So it wasn't unreasonable to ask for it, and the format of it isn't an unreasonable format. I don't practice law in Minnesota, but I've seen a lot of pro per kind of filings like that. And, unless there's some procedural issue where, requests for relief have to be done on a certain mandatory form or something like that, I could see something like that working. I could see something like that working. I have seen things like that work. Now, why didn't it work? Well, obviously, the court can always deny it. I mean, that's always a thing. But there's something that Ray Swirsky and the fat guy in a turkey outfit, very, very befitting. There's a legal precedent that was involved that they didn't touch on, which why would they? Neither one of them knows their asshole from their elbow as far as the law is concerned. But it's called the fugitive disentitlement doctrine. It's federal, it's California. I'm going to assume that it is Minnesota as well. And that's basically saying that if you're a fugitive from an order of the court, which Ethan Ralph is, there's a bench warrant out for contempt, and he's fled to Mexico. you can't seek relief from that court without actually appearing in front of that court. So had he shown up in person to that Minnesota court, there would have been the son has decided to make an appearance. There would have been a much better chance for success on the motion. But because he was a fugitive and he was asking the court for relief while he was still being a fugitive, he wasn't actually placing himself in the court's power while asking the court to exercise the court's power on his behalf. Because he was a fugitive from that court, the court was well within its right to not grant it. Now, I want to point out that family law is equity. Courts come in two flavors in the U.S. There's courts of law and courts of equity. Courts of law give you money, dollars. Courts of equity give you other relief, generally speaking, not dollars. Now, in family law, you like division of assets, that's dollars. Well, that's equity. They're splitting your assets in half between the two of you. You both own the assets. Now each one owns half the assets. But law is like, I got injured in a motorcycle accident and I'm going to sue the driver of the other vehicle. I want money. That's court of law. Court of equity, they have a lot more leeway to craft things to be fair. The touchstone of equity is fairness, equitability, equitable. The court of equity, you get the idea. So the courts have a lot of power to do things in a court of equity to effectuate the kind of resolution that Ethan Ralph wanted. So again, I think the real problem was that he was a fugitive asking the court that he was a fugitive from for affirmative relief without actually submitting to the power of the court himself. Anyway, I hope that is the kind of answer the person who gave me the video was interested in. Kino Casino is fucking terrible to watch. It's a bunch of people who take great joy in the poor luck, the poor circumstances, the poor situations of people who haven't done anything to them personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never like that. You don't see that in my videos. I don't rejoice. Like, I never rejoiced when Chile De Castro got in a bad situation. I don't want to, like, if you're not opposing party or opposing counsel, if you haven't done something directly to me, I don't see why anybody would care really, other than, it's too bad it happened to him. But whatever. This is a whole brave new internet of people rejoicing in Schadenfreude. So, Schadenfreude? Something like that. Anyway, that's me getting off my moral high horse. I hope I've answered the submitter's question. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.